Now we're going to begin work on our course project. We're going to build out the backend first, and that's going to be done with Graphene, in particular a specific version of Graphene called Graphene Django that allows us to hook into a specific Python web framework called Django. So we're going to use Graphene and Django in order to build out the backend of our application. And also, instead of having to execute our GraphQL operations within a given Python file, we're going to use a graphical IDE. So it's going to be much more convenient to test out different operations within our backend. We're going to get started in our command line or terminal once again. We're going to cd, where we want to create this project. We'll make a new directory, and this will be called React Tracks. That's going to be the name of our app. So we'll cd into React Tracks, and then we'll open this in our code editor. And once we've got that open, we're once again going to create our virtual environment with the help of our pipenv shell command. Currently we're within our virtual environment and we have our pip file created. Now let's install all of the packages that we'll need. We'll say pipenv install first Django, as well as Graphene-Django, Django GraphQL JWT, and Django cores headers. We should then see that all four of those packages are installed to our packages area of our pip file, and I'd also recommend installing a code formatter, a format tool. I'll personally be going with the tool AutoPep8. This formatting tool is something that you want to install as a dev package, and we can bring that in by running the command pipenv install --dev AutoPep8. That package is going to make sure that our code is always formatted the way that we need, so that we don't get any indentation errors. And the next step is to actually create our Django project. So our core Django project is going to be called app, and it's going to be within this React Tracks folder. So within React Tracks, we'll run Django-admin start project, and we're going to call it app. After running that, you should see an app folder created within the root of your project, which contains a subfolder app as well as this manage.py file. Don't be thrown off by this nested app structure. This is just how Django works. And most of our commands are going to be run with this manage.py file, namely to start up our server. But before we start up our server, the next step will be to create a database with its base database tables. We need to cd into this app folder. So now we're within app right here, and we need to run the migrate command to create an initial database based on Django's default settings. And that command is python manage.py migrate. It's going to perform a lot of migrations, and once that's done, we should see this db.sqlite3 database. This is the default database when working with Django, and SQLite is a file-based database. For production, you'd likely use something like Postgres, but this default database is going to be perfectly fine for our development purposes. And now that we've done all of this, we've created our project folder, created our pip file, our virtual environment, we've created our base app, performed our base database migrations, and created the database itself. Now we can start up our server to see that Django is working properly. We can do that by running the command, again, within app, python manage.py run server. Then our development server should have started up at this address, which is also localhost 8000. And if we navigate there, we should see the default screen telling us that the install worked successfully.